What is up, my YouTube people, all you fishing enthusiasts out there? This is CrewDog Gamer bringing you another video on the infamous Fishing Planet series. Now, for those of you who don't know, Fishing Planet is a current early access game that was released in 2014 as the most in-depth fishing simulator that you could possibly get your hands on. And I wholeheartedly believe that it's a free-to-play game with DLCs and stuff like that. And they have just very recently, not super recently, about a week ago, I got a beta code from the devs, and I'm able to play the full release version of the game, the Fisherman. And I've been getting a bunch of questions from both my friends and from you guys asking me what the difference between Fishing Planet and the Fisherman is. So they are one and the same but completely different. Whereas Fishing Planet, the early access title is just that, it's an early access title, so it was meant for funding, bug testing, refining, and getting ready for what we're looking at right here, which is the Fisherman Fishing Planet, which is the full release of the game. So I'm not going to skip around on this video, so it might be a little drawn out, but it shouldn't be. I'm enjoying a beer and a big old fat pinch of Copenhagen because I'm doing online college while working a full-time job, and it's always kicked my ass doing that. So I've got 5 points. We're going to go over 5 main points that I think are the most important to explain the difference between the two. The first one being the currency. So a lot of you guys will remember in Fishing Planet, in the early access game, I'm just going to call it early access and full release. So in early access, everything costs a ton of money, whether it be travel, whether it be buying equipment, participating in the missions, or excuse me, the sport was quite expensive, and it still is just a little bit expensive, but I don't think that dynamic really needed to be changed. But mostly the travel costs and the gear costs and the licensing costs were the biggest, some of the hardest things to overcome. Like if we go here and go to our licenses, right? These licenses are now, and this is going to come up in another point, these licenses are now much cheaper with a lot more result out of them. And even if we go to the most expensive one, the Advanced UK license, you get so much more out of it. And actually, if I'm looking at that right, I think you can keep the Beluga. I don't see it in the release of any of the advanced overseas licenses. We're still looking real quick. Yeah, I believe you can keep the Beluga now, which is pretty fucking cool. I know a lot of guys were wanting to do that, unless I just completely missed it there. So currency has become a much bigger thing. Bait coins are not nearly as prevalent for buying shit that is needed to get you around in the world, or buying things that you need, such as boats. Speaking of which, let's take a look at the boats. The bass boats, specifically. They're still about the same price they were, but this is a much more obtainable goal, and we're going to go over why that is here in just a second. The Gary Scott Corvus or Orion being the two bass boats that you would buy without the bait coins. The Gary Scott Phoenix, which you would get 15 levels earlier, still costs bait coins, which is fine because it is 15 levels earlier than most of the other stuff. But currency has taken a huge swing in the game, whereas you don't need as much currency in order to function in the game, to at least get around to different lakes and actually be able to fish there and catch stuff, because we all know basic licenses are crap and they really don't do anything for you. Second point I'll bring up is licenses. Now, when you do buy a license, you will notice that there is no 1 day, 3 day, 5 day, 1 week unlimited option anymore. You just buy the license. You buy the license once, straight up, and you never have to pay for it again. You don't have to worry about a timer running out. You don't have to grind in one spot. You can do 1 day of fishing and go somewhere else, and you just eat the travel costs, So you just have a one-time buy system for the licenses now, which I thought was the best improvement they could have made in the entire game, right? So we'll talk about DLCs for a second, at least the 2 that are out for the Fisherman right now. They're called packs now. So it actually looks like they have 2 packs that I was unable to get. I can't. I don't know if I'm supposed to be able to get them or what, but they say $0 US. And a couple of them comes some really nice stuff, especially this Predatory boat pack. Comes with the boat. A couple of meaty ass reels. Comes with a pond pass for New York, which is good. And 20 bait coins, $50,000. Now, if we go to the store page, which I think I can get to, there's no store page for this. Go to Community Hub. Visit the store page. So we're actually showing an NA, so I don't know how much these DLCs are costing. But the big thing that you need to worry about here is how you pay for the DLCs now. Now, normally we would use bait coins for things like purchasing lures, purchasing licenses, unlimited licenses if you have enough of them. But now, since you don't have to worry about that, you can just buy the licenses at a reasonable cost. You know, $8,000 being the most expensive license you can get. When we look here, you'll see that your DLCs are actually now bait coin specific. So, like, here's the VBO pack. I actually have the VBO pack. I don't have these other two, but I have the VBO. I think it was like $3.99 or something when I bought it. It's fairly cheap. We've got float bottom packs. I can't seem to scroll over. There we go. We got catfishing packs. So you do have quite a few packs that are going to be able to help you out. I mean, come on. What could you not do with some poppers, walkers, crankbaits? I mean, that's a great pack. Now, it is, as you see here, very expensive in the bait coins. But if we actually go to the shop and the... Wow, they don't have bait coin purchasing in here. That's weird. I actually haven't looked at that. If we go to our shop, we've got the bait coin exchange, but I don't think they've set up the game, or at least the beta yet, for you to put real currency into it. So it's just not there for me. So I don't know how much the bait coins are actually going to cost right now. Which is a little shitty, but it's something I would like to know, at least before I start this. But beggars can't be choosers. I got a free copy of the game. Let's see, we've got locations and fish. So we do have a few new fish, I think 4 new fish, and we've got 1 new fishing location, the Creuse River. I'm sure I just butchered the shit out of that. And it's got most of your common European fish, Wells catfish, Xanders. It's got different kinds of brim and carp, roaches, ruds, perch, pike, all that good stuff. Stuff you guys are used to seeing in Europe. One of the things I thought was the coolest was, if I can get this goddamn menu to go away. Oh my god. We go over to Mudwater, we go to our fish species here, and we actually have a new species of fish in Mudwater, the spotted gar, over 9 pounds, average weight of 4 to 6 pounds. So it's going to be, I haven't actually tried fishing for it yet, but it is, you know, something that I would like to go fishing for, especially since you can get trophy and unique. I think that's really good for the lower level guys who like to grind on Missouri. Like I've always preached, grinding on Missouri is always a good idea if you have a larger keep net. So I think it's a very great thing that they added some form of gar back into Mudwater, because it used to be you could catch the big 90+ pound alligator gar in Missouri, and they scrubbed that whenever they released Quanchican Lake, and they put the gar over there instead of in Mudwater. So we have the spotted gar now here, which is pretty cool. And once I get a little bit higher level in here, I'll be able to pull it up and hopefully be able to catch a couple of them. So another big deal to me is the UI. It looks like they've cleaned up the UI a little bit. It looks a little less shitty. They've changed it to where you don't have the same tabs up top, but your leaderboard and everything still works quite well. And we can go into our, let's get loaded in here. We can go into our fishing stuff here, get loaded up for fishing. We can see that the UI has really not changed at all in the game, that is, right? Really, nothing's different. I don't see anything a whole hell of a lot different. And the reason I wanted to put that into this list, it's not necessarily a different, but I was hoping that they would do a little bit of a UI revamp, and I hope to see somewhere in the future that they add in options for different forms of casting, such as side casting, overhand, and pitch casting. If they could add in side casting, I think that would be a lot cooler. Maybe we could figure out how to skip lures or something. But the UI remains very, very similar. Um, and we don't see a whole lot of difference. Nothing really new in our keybinding stuff. We do have some. Oh, I saw something earlier in the game. We do have still have the player models in close range, snag warnings, and all that stuff. So nothing's really changed in here. I still use the Pro. Some people like to use the Simple, but the biggest deal is they changed the bar up top. They've added in a few more minute details. The weather forecast doesn't really look different. The fish species bar doesn't really look different. But the licenses are fucking great, and I can't get over that. So I'm gonna keep on preaching that. Your missions UI, actually, when you track a mission, it will give you a little bit different UI. It's not quite as it's much more in your face. I kind of preferred the early access to this, because this is very, you have to do this. You have to go into this area, and once you leave the tutorial, it kind of, if you're like me and you've been playing Fishing Planet for a really long time, it won't be nearly as big of a deal. But if you're brand new to the game, you're gonna think that that's what you have to do. If you don't know that this missions tab is here, you're gonna think you're like following the progress of the game. Like, the game is structured, and the game isn't structured. You know, it's a free roaming game. You can go wherever and do whatever you want to do, as long as you can afford it and you have the stuff behind it. And if you go watch my first live stream, you'll see that I started doing a lot of the missions, and I was like, I don't feel like doing a lot of this stuff. I want to go do what I want to do. And I have a feeling that some of the new players are going to come into it, and they're going to be like, you know, this is the structure of the game, this is the storyline of the game, and it's linear, and they don't understand that it's not a linear game. You can really go do whatever the hell you want to do. So if you guys have any questions about the Fishing Planet beta, or the Fisherman beta, the full release beta, or about early access Fishing Planet, please ask me. I might not know the answer, but I can certainly direct you to somebody who does, or I can give you the best educated guess that I possibly can. So I am going to go pass out in my bed after I finish this course, and I will see all of you guys later. I appreciate you watching. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more Fishing Planet videos. I'm also uploading Army videos lately. I'll be uploading some Minecraft Survival World stuff. Call of Duty is coming out in a couple weeks, and Red Dead Redemption 2 on PC is releasing November 5th, so you'll be seeing that getting uploaded to the channel too. I hope you guys have a great night. We'll see you guys later.